has made an emotional visit to Belfast to see a memorial to one of his relatives and 9 other crew members of a B17 that crashed into Cavehill in 1944.
UTV made an award-winning documentary about the tragedy, and today Alison met up with the nephew of navigator Joseph Nobilione.
I thought it would be more towards the mountain up there.
Yeah.
I never realised he was so close to coming in for a safe landing. Well,
over the years, Frank Fiordalisi had often wondered about what happened to his Uncle Joseph. He knew that he died in a plane crash during World War II, but the event was never talked about in his family. Both his mother and his grandmother were devastated by Joseph's death, so his knowledge of what happened was almost non-existent. It was only when he asked a friend to help him trace his uncle's grave that the story unfolded.
So I started to do some work on the internet and got a copy of the crash report, and from that, the date of the crash, and from there established that they were originally buried here in Belfast and then moved to Cambridge to the US cemetery, the Somerset Cemetery in Cambridge. And then I had a friend from London drive up to Cambridge, took a picture of the grave, and then we discovered that there was much more of a story to it. And you know, we heard about Alfie and the film that was being made, but that was after we'd established where Joseph had been buried and what had happened.
Alfie Montgomery has always been interested in the crash site, and when he found a ring there in the 1990s, it led him to make contact with the family of another crew member, Lawrence Dundon. After the UTV documentary about the ring was screened, Alfie then made contact with Frank and was able to fill in the gaps in his knowledge.
The only information they had up to I turned up with more information basically was they'd been lost in Ireland in bad weather. Now it was even some 6-7 weeks before that information went through to them back in 1944. And Frank himself served with the US military as a heavy driver, and he, all the time he was serving in Europe in the 50s and 60s, wondered and thought and read into what had happened to his uncle. But it was just so nice that information all came together, and just unfortunate for UTV that it happened after he had finished filming, but he's here today, and the story goes on. It's another leg of the story unfolding.
Although Frank was a small child when Joseph died, he has fond memories of him, and he's overwhelmed that the people of Belfast have erected the memorial.
We couldn't believe it. You know, after all these years passed and people, they remember. Yeah, it's sad, very sad, but we're happy. We're happy. He didn't die, but you know, the whole crew, they came so far and it was so close, and they just didn't make it. Yeah, he always told my mother, he said, someday you're going to have an Irish sister-in-law. He loved Irish people. And then when he crashed in Ireland, my grandmother said, he's at peace now.
And they were so close to making the pass between Cavehill and Carmoneyhill there. Had they been another 3 or 4 feet higher in altitude, they would have cleared Cavehill and been on their way to Knott's Corner for a safe landing, and it's just unfortunate.
The hardest part of the journey was all behind them.
It was, the transatlantic crossing.
They were just so close.
Yeah.
I'm very glad I came. I'll come back. I have a new friend now for life, Alfie. If it wasn't for him, he restored my faith in the human race. What a nice man.
Oh, yeah. Such a super story.
Well said, well said.